I'm Gail Polubiak of Interview Academy, and today is part 2 of our video series, 3 Executive Recruiter Top Secrets Revealed. I have to say first that I'm so excited because I love what I do. I get to help experienced professionals by teaching you the tactics and strategies you need to get hired in today's market. I love it when I can help you get paid what you're worth and do what you do best. I know some people will say that they just wonder if this is going to be the same old BS. Well, if it is, then please turn it off. Shoot me an email letting me know, and then stop wasting your time. That's the last thing I want to do. I'm actually trying to throw a monkey wrench into all of the job search and interview stuff that most people are receiving because it's grossly inadequate for today's new job market, especially if you have years of experience under your belt. My mission truly is not just to put lipstick on pigs or start to sell some product out there. Rather, my goal is to give you the tools to break out of looking for a job. In video number 1, we talked about the opportunity, and I cannot overemphasize this enough. This is a huge time for people in your position. Deloitte had a study recently that found that attracting and retaining top talent was the #1 factor that companies named that will affect their growth and their market position in the next 10 years. Newsweek called it a nuclear war for talent, and it's all because of the brain drain. When we had the recession, companies removed that top line expensive payroll. I get that. They cut away the fat. Unfortunately, they cut away the muscle and the bone, and now they're struggling. They threw the baby out with the bathwater, and now they're struggling in a hyper-competitive market to retain the talent, wisdom, and experience they once had, and they know they need to go further. So here's our challenge. Why can't the people with the talent, wisdom, and experience get hired by the companies who need the talent, wisdom, and experience? And the sad thing is, this challenge is truly holding our economy hostage. It's holding people back from their dreams, and sadly, it's ruining lives of families in the process. So the crux of this challenge is due to this unprecedented generational shift that we're going through. I've spoken about it in previous videos, that we're facing a significant and unrecognized language barrier. Obviously, my program will help you overcome this challenge and more, but now I just want to serve you by helping you overcome a little bit of this challenge by giving you at least one tip that can help you break down that language barrier. So, Executive Recruiter Top Secret number 2 is, we don't care what you want. I don't want you to squander these opportunities when you're talking with an executive recruiter, because that's truly not what drives us. What drives us, we work on behalf of the client companies who pay our fees. They don't call and tell us they're looking for somebody who wants to do this. They're calling and telling us they want somebody who can do this. So what we want to hear is what you do best. And so this is a significant aspect of breaking down that language barrier, and I'll show you in specific detail how this is. So regardless of the recruiter that you've been working with in the past or will in the future, understand that we all run from the same principle. As I said, we serve the clients who pay our fees. The more you can give us that will help us give our clients what they want, the better you are in the process. So now that we're in this new economy, and I've said that the old strategies don't work, what new strategy is going to work when you approach a recruiter? Well, the key is to identify your sweet spot. That's the place where what you do best and what you love to do come together. This is your zone. You know it. This is when you are unstoppable. If you think about a golf club, the face of the club has a sweet spot. When you smack that ball, there's nothing like that feeling. So it's the same. When you're the go-to person for a specific project, that's what people want to know. Because typically, this is where you succeed and this is where you're at your best. So when you lay on what a company is willing to pay, now you have your career sweet spot. So how do you find your sweet spot? I have an exercise that I have my clients prepare. I ask them to list out at least 10 accomplishments that they have been proud of in their past, and more importantly, that they thoroughly enjoyed the process. Now, these are not for your resume. This is for introspection. So don't worry if it's so insignificant. As long as you are proud of it and you enjoy doing it, this is going to give you the essence of what your key success patterns are. So don't worry about that. This is, again, just self-reflection time. Although I will say, I had an individual one time tell me he was proud of his law degree. And I asked him if he enjoyed law school. He said, absolutely not. I hated it. So that did not get on the list because he did not enjoy the process. So I hope that helps you understand a little bit about that. Next is, and this is difficult for a lot of people, because when we're in the zone, when we are in our sweet spot, typically it's an unconscious competence. It's mastery. We're not even aware of the steps we take, but I encourage you to think through the different steps you took, because what you're going to do is, once you itemize all the steps you took under each one of those accomplishments, you're going to see a common denominator come up. You're going to find out if you're process driven or you're socially active, as in you tend to collaborate, or you're really driven to find the opinions of others in the effort to find a solution. So these are the areas that will pop up. This is your work. So whatever you get, that's going to be your sweet spot. And let me explain how this plays out. I'm going to ask you this. So who would you hire? First, you have Albert Einstein come in, and he tells you, I discovered the theory of relativity and I won the Nobel Prize in physics. And then Thomas Edison came in and said, well, I invented the phonograph, motion pictures, the light bulb, and I hold over 1,000 patents. Very impressive. And chances are they're each going to go through the interview process. But at the end of the day, all things being equal, my guess is that neither one would get hired. What I would hear as an executive recruiter at the end, as I'm doing my post-interview follow-up, the hiring manager is typically going to tell me, because he just can't figure it out. I might hear, well, they're both overqualified, or they're just a legend in their own mind. How sad. They'll end up bridesmaids. These are the two of the most significant contributors of our society. However, if you lay over their sweet spot, and they each said, for instance, if Einstein said, well, I'm an out-of-the-box thinker. I question key assumptions, and I solve fairly well-defined problems in new and unusual ways. And, for instance, when I discovered the theory of relativity, I did this. And then he explains how he put his sweet spot to work in a verifiable example. Same with Thomas Edison. He was somebody who took already known concepts and refine them. So he would come in and say, well, what I know about myself is I'm at my best when I can take what's already known and refine it until I can solve a problem. For instance, when I created the motion picture, and he can go into exactly how that happened. Now, that frees the hiring manager to understand how each of these people work. And maybe they'll get the job, maybe they won't. But the manager may be able to find another aspect in the organization, because now you're not just stuck on a job description and resume. This is how you break free of the years of experience and break out of the ruts. And you can free them to think out of the box themselves into new opportunities that might be created for you. This is the tip of the iceberg of how to break into the 75% of jobs that are not advertised. So let me go on and show you where you would use this. For instance, the question might be to you, what are you looking for? Am I putting that down as a trick question? You bet I am, because don't fall for it. Now, it might fall out of the mouths of recruiters because that's just what they do. But you still have to keep going back to knowing what they really want. Keep in mind their number one priority is to give the client companies what they need. So this is where you might say, well, I'm at my best when, and then you nail your sweet spot. And you follow it up with an example like I did with Einstein and Thomas Edison. Another time this is used is in that all too popular initial interview question, tell me about yourself. Most people will come in with somewhat of a Cliff Note version of their resume and background, and they may even say what they want. please don't do that. But that's, that's for another day. But another way of doing this is to say just an even more brief explanation of your background, as in, I've been an inventor for a number of years and I've won some notable awards, and I'll happily get into more of the detail of my background. However, what I know about myself is I'm at my best when, then you nail your sweet spot. For instance, with Einstein, I'm at my best when I have an opportunity to think out of the box, to come up with new ways of approaching common problems. For instance, when I created the theory of relativity, I was able to, and I won't even begin to explain how he came up with the theory of relativity. So that's where you start with the tell me about yourself. Now you're in a whole other world of an interview. Another place is when you're networking and you're using your elevator pitch. Again, this is not a time to tell what you want or a time to tell what you did or how well you did it. That's old school. Now is a time to get into exactly your sweet spot. So much like the tell me about yourself, you would say, I've been an inventor for a number of years, but here's where I'm at my best. When I have an opportunity to think openly about new solutions to common problems, I hit the cover off the ball each and every time. For instance, I developed the theory of relativity, and you go on. And do not assume that the people you know get this, because it's hard enough for us to know how we master things. It's very difficult for anybody else to know. So it's up to us to come up and articulate how we do what we do. This is the way to get under the hood of this language barrier. I know I threw a lot at you. This is a simple concept, but I know it's not an easy concept. So if you have any questions or comments, please list them below. I'll be monitoring them as we go along. And I'm looking forward to the next video where we're going to go even deeper. So until then, relax and know your future is good. Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you on the other side.